We are live.
We are now live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our 2024 Youth Olympics recap. Today we have a very special guest. We have a former Youth uh, Olympian and 2023 European medalist, Annika Hocke. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We'll just give it a minute for some people to come in. It takes a minute for them to load sometimes. But yeah, what have you been up to since would have been Europeans?
Yes, Europeans. Well, it feels like it's kind of so long ago, but also it just was happening. But we had a few shows. We did Music on Ice. We had one Holiday on Ice show, our first one. And in between, of course, a lot of practice because we went right back to practice since we didn't have the longest preparation for Europeans. So it didn't feel like we needed a huge break. We were just happy to train again. And that's what happened since then.
Will you do another competition before Worlds?
No. We decided to do some Holiday on Ice shows, which we realized is actually really hard. Like, it's super exhausting to be like on a small ice, and we're so happy when we can say like we just have to do a long program today. So we're also excited to just get back to more practice than we had before Europeans. So we decided to not do another competition.
It was fun to see you at Music on Ice also because you're it was fun to see the show version of your short program, especially. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you. Yeah, we enjoyed it a lot. It's also a little bit easier, honestly, for the show because it works. I think it works well as a show, and you can put in a few more fun elements, and we adjust it now every time a little bit that we can perform it better on small ice because, of course, the transitions are for a normal size ice rink, normal, and not for a super one.
Cool.
And how are you both now, injury-wise? Obviously, you had to withdraw from the Grand Prix final and nationals because of the injury.
Yeah, we Robert is doing great. I'm doing good as well, but I also did before. No, he was honestly super surprised that the 2.5-ish, 3 weeks he took off worked that well with his back. I mean, of course, he got injections, so they kind of took away almost all of the pain because that's what they were supposed to do. But also he did a lot of rehabilitation, and normally you think that the rehabilitation doesn't work that quick because the muscles have to adjust and usually it takes a while. But this time it worked very well. Of course, he has to keep going. He still does it every day. But we're super happy. We want to keep it like that, and the back is fine, and that's how training is fun, and that's how we like training, and not with dealing with injuries the whole time.
Yeah, that's great. So looking at the Youth Olympics, just before we dive into what happened this year, I'm super curious what you remember from your experience in 2016 and what that was like for you.
It's so hard because I don't know why, but it feels forever ago. And then the years after were so quick because it was like Youth Olympics and almost real Olympics. So I lost a bit of like the focus on the Youth Olympics, but for me it was like a huge thing. I mean, it was my first big competition. I think I'm pretty sure I had junior Grand Prix the season after and not this season. And it was so nice. I think I almost enjoyed it more than the real Olympics because it was like less pressure, more fun. I had so much time to watch different sports. At the Olympics I tried, but it was not that much time because there was more happening, like because I had to be at the team event, and in the end we didn't skate, but you still had to be there, so you lost time. Then there was the real competition, then there was some press and something like that, and that was not there at the Youth Olympics, so it was just for fun. And I learned so much from it because my coach back then, like my singles coach, she loved to take videos. I was always a little bit annoyed by her taking videos of everything, but she was right. Like she made me watch all the practices of Kaori, for example, and I really like got a lot of motivation from it because there were so many great skaters, and you could like take a little bit of everybody and maybe change it in your daily practice. So it was a super nice experience. Like I think Lillehammer also was very like well organized, and the like everything around it was very nice, so I had a great time.
And so you were there as a singles skater, and then you did one more season of singles after that, is that right? Or yeah.
I think I think I ended with Bavarian Open, so almost a full season. Yeah. And then I switched to pairs. I think I started in February, March, January, something like that. It's too long ago. I don't remember it that much anymore.
I mean, it is like 8 years, like 7 years.
That sounds horrible, but yes, it is. Yeah. No.
It's wild looking back, and we were looking through this and kind of thinking, okay, like, well, who's around and who's competing, who was at the Youth Olympics and from different years, and it's definitely interesting to see that there's I think a lot of the men from 2016 are still actively competing, but very few of the women, and like a few of the pairs in dance, but almost no one with their partners that they were with then. And with maybe the exception of Marjorie and Zach are like the one that we could point to. We're like, oh yeah, they're still. But it was funny to see, like, you look back and it's like, oh, that was a really long time ago in skating years, even though 2016 in like human years is not that long ago.
That's true. No, but it's crazy. I also looked at the men's event and I was like, wow, there's a few that are still skating, and that, like, for example, Adam did like a huge jump. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I remember him like from there, but I don't know, it was such a, like, who would have thought that this would happen? Like, that's amazing. Yeah.
So
yeah, it's incredible to see him go from like 10th to like winning Europeans twice.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Looking at this year's Youth Olympics, what were your like overall thoughts and observations? That's to everyone as well.
So first of all, the first thing I thought was, wow, that's full. Like the stadium was packed, because I remember at the Olympics there, at least at the Paris competition, it was not full at all. Like, I mean, we skated at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday, so that was not the best time for people watching, but it was not even half of the people being there. So I was really happy for everybody skating, because it's such a great experience. I mean, it's the Youth Olympics. It's like a new and amazing time for them, and then having a full stadium is even greater. I mean, you don't have that at every figure skating competition, even in the senior categories. So that's a lot of fun. And I think, I mean, I didn't see it, but probably it was very well organized, and like they seemed like they enjoyed it a lot, and I hope they did, because they should enjoy it. And I mean, yeah, it's a great opportunity for everybody. They can take so much from this experience, and yeah, that's what I saw.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, regarding the amount of people watching, like, for almost everyone there, that's going to be the biggest crowd they've ever experienced, because junior Grand Prix tend to have minimal audiences. Even junior worlds tend to not be that populated, and a lot of them, the skaters were on their like first proper international competition, so it's going to be something they remember forever.
Yeah, for sure. And I felt like the audience was also very supportive and also seemed like they knew a little bit about figure skating, even though I assume that also a lot of like other sportsmen were watching, but it seemed like they really understood a bit about figure skating.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because we don't actually get many competitions in Korea, and there's a lot of skating fans in Korea, and so maybe this was something that was exciting for people to go, like made the effort to go watch it, who are skating fans.
I mean, they have a lot of great skaters, so it would be weird if they don't really understand the sport and never watch it, because I think it's a lot bigger than in the most European countries. So and they had like a few medals, so that's nice to watch as well. Even better.
Yeah, they had people like in medal contention in like everything except for the small pairs event. Obviously, they didn't quite get there in ice dance. They came fourth, but they were in a medal position after the rhythm dance. So it was they definitely had interest to see how their skaters do in each of the disciplines.
Yeah.
My other, I feel like, overall takeaway was about the commentary, which was, I think we all were talking about that, but it was, they have to do better about this. Like, get people who know something about the sport to be doing commentary, and just don't be mean. It was
They're children.
Well, yeah.
Like,
no, I mean,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I think even with adults, it's like not the way, or the like, that's not the moment where you should be like not nice, because it's anyway a stressful situation. And of course, when you're older, you're you understand more, and you can be better about getting criticized, or but not mean. Like, the children, I don't know if they're gonna watch it, but still, it's not a nice way to do that, and it doesn't really make sense because it helps nobody. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like if the comments were constructive, if there were like points of like they can improve this or they can improve that, at least if they go back and watch that, that's like something they can take away from that. Okay, I can work on that. If you're just criticizing and being mean and sometimes almost cruel, there's no benefit to that. There's no positive to it. Like, it makes the audience uncomfortable. It will make the skaters sad if they go back and watch it. Like, it doesn't help.
No, not at all. And sometimes I feel like less commentary is also more, because I don't know, I don't enjoy watching a program when there's a lot of comments in between. I agree that sometimes there's a place where it fits and where it doesn't bother me, and where it's maybe like you don't have to be silent throughout the whole performance, of course. But there are some performances where this might happen, because it's just so great and it just has its momentum that it needs, and then the commentary is just in the wrong place. So I don't know, I think you really need a feeling for it, and you really need to understand when to speak and what to speak. I assume it's not easy. I mean, I never did it, and you have to really be into the sport to like say the right things in the right moments. But you should, for events like that, you should have people that are able to do that. So yeah.
And I was thinking about that. Like, they had somebody that, I think the woman has some figure skating background. I don't know anything about her, but
I think she's commentated figure skating before. I think she has a roller skating background.
Okay. And the guy was, not from figure skating world at all. And I can imagine, having a commentary duo where like one person knows more than the other, and that they can have, like that little bit of that, like, one person playing the sort of educational role and the other person sort of being like the proxy of the audience who doesn't know as much. But like, it was very, these two were very frustrating. And I was thinking about it because I was also going back and forth between watching US Nationals and watching the Youth Olympics. And when I was watching US Nationals, it was with the World Feud with Adam Rippon and Ashley Wagner. And I was thinking about like, okay, so how, because I was thinking about this, I was like, okay, so how and when are they being critical? And I was realizing like, actually they were being more critical than we tend to see, like, you know, Mark or Ted or some of the people on the ISU feed, but they were doing it from this perspective of like skaters who know these people and like want them to do so well. And so when they would, you know, somebody would forget to put a combination on, they would be like, how could you have done that? How could you have forgotten the combination? You know, that's unforgivable.
Comes
But it
from
was from this
frustration
place
of wanting them to do well.
frustration and empathy.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about like how, you know, just the tone and the approach was so different. So it wasn't that you couldn't be critical. It was that it just, yeah, it's just with the attitude. It was like, you know, these were people who were like, who know exactly how hard it was to do that and were frustrated because they want people to be doing well instead of feeling like, I'm just going to sit back and judge like, oh, well, that wasn't very good. And it's like, why? We don't need that.
No, and
also, if you've got, you go ahead.
Sorry. No, I also don't like when there's people that maybe don't know that much about the sport or weren't in the sport or whatever, are saying things like with full like understanding, like they think they're understanding it. And I don't think it's a problem that they're not from the sport, because you can still have a like view on the things, like a point, like something to say about it, but you don't have to always be right. You can also say like, I don't know, maybe I understood it wrong and for me it looked like this, but you don't have to always, you know, like throw it out first, and then somebody who understands the sport is like, yeah, but that's just not true, like that's not a double toe or whatever, like just, you know, just say things that you can, that are your opinion. Like if I put my grandparents into watching figure skating, they will still tell me if they like something or if they think that the movements are fitting the music for them or something like that, but they won't tell me if that triple toe was under rotated or not, you know, like
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think if you're trying to like teach potentially a new audience about the sport, I don't think having no tech box on the screen helps. I think if you have a guide to know what you're looking for and what you're looking at and how things are being scored, even if you don't quite understand it, you have a sense of what's being judged, rather than just what, like, you have just no idea and you just have like the commentary that isn't necessarily the most informative to guide you.
Yeah. And I think it's like a lot of effort you have to put in if you want to do a good commentary. I know that it's difficult, and with the event like this, you maybe don't have the time to ask a lot of people how this person is doing, or ask coaches that you know that can maybe help you on the technical side or whatever. But for example, Mark used to, I know that the Grand Prix is very like limited in entries, but he used to write like every sportsman, like asking if there's something we want to talk about, if we have something for him. And I think that makes it more interesting, because it's not just about pure elements, but also if this, like, the people have to say something or want the audience to know something. And of course that takes up more time and more effort, but it's also so much better to watch. That's just what I think.
Yeah,
definitely. One thing that I learned recently about the commentary during the skates, because I think a lot of fans would prefer like just watch, you know, give me the commentary during the recap and not during the actual skate. For a lot of the things that are like rights holders and TV broadcasts and stuff, they actually need to put commentary during it in order to like make basically in order to copyright the stream. That's the thing that they're adding to it. So that makes it be like theirs proprietarily. And so that the commentators will get guidelines on like what percentage they're supposed to be talking over at least, or that kind of thing. And so I feel like knowing that, I've always sort of kept that in the back of my mind, that it's not always like the choice of the commentator how much they talk, like that sometimes they have to because of those rules.
Yeah, well, sometimes a little sad, but if there's no other choice, then it's better.
Make it meaningful.
They can still say like, you know, minimal and relevant things rather than like go off on a tangent. Like the thing I hate the most is when they talk about a different skater during the skater's performance, and that always seems so rude.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people were very annoyed that during Mao Shimada's short program, she kind of went off on a tangent talking about the change in the age rules. And that is an important distinction to talk about, but I would not be talking about that during the gold medal favorites skate.
Yeah.
no.
I think that took up like half the program.
It did. It was very distracting. And the other thing was commenting on the skaters, you know, height or how skinny they were, like that kind of thing, which is just, you know, across the board should be inappropriate to talk about during anybody's skate. And I did feel like at least the Olympic channel people like were noting that there were comments being made and did respond a little bit. And I feel like it got slightly better over the course of it so that some feedback was given, but hopefully they think about this for the future in terms of who they pick to do commentary.
It's probably also not so easy to find people that want to do it or that are able to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people there are that are commentating, skating.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'm sure that it's challenging. I was thinking about this though, like the Canadians always seem to manage to get like people, you know, lots of retired skaters to comment on all of the like even the novice Canadian things, and just so I don't know. Maybe there are people who would do it. Shall we talk about the events?
Yeah, and in honor of Annika being here, I thought we'll start with the pairs event.
Great.
With our tiny pairs event. I felt so sorry for the Australians to not get a medal. I really wanted the pewter medal to be for them.
Like at championships, yeah. No, it was so sad to me that the event is so small because a lot of people miss out on the opportunity to like go there. And to me, it doesn't really make sense because I know when I went that in other sports, the age group was so big that there were even people at 21 or something like that. Don't like put me on the on the age. I was not sure, but definitely a lot older than I was. And I don't know why you couldn't make it the same age range as it is in normal juniors, because we already don't have that many junior pairs anyway.
Yeah.
And then limited that much is just so sad. But yeah.
I'm pretty sure they cut it down from last year, like not last year, like 4 years ago. I'm pretty sure they made it even smaller than it was then. And it's such a small event, and essentially the skaters you have here aren't even really juniors. They're kind of novice level rather than junior level because the age is so small.
I mean, for some people, it was the opportunity of their life, which is also nice to just get a medal at such a big competition, which wouldn't probably have been possible if the age group was normal juniors. And some people, like, I mean, the US team, they do have other juniors that are better, which would have went probably if the age group was like normal junior age. So for them, it was also just a great time to go there. So, which is nice. I mean, I think it's nice if they had the chance to like go out and compete internationally, because there's also not that many junior international competitions you can go. So they should really like take it in and grow and learn from it. And yeah, just I hope they enjoyed it, because it's really a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like, this was a Canadian team that I had never seen
Me
perform.
neither. Yeah.
And and there were 3 Canadian junior teams at the Junior Grand Prix final, but none of them were age eligible for this. And yeah, we're sometimes I struggle with the whole thing with age for pair skating and for junior pairs, and the idea that like it's inevitable that you have to have these huge age gaps in junior pairs, but it doesn't do anyone any benefit to be like, in all the competitions except this one, the rules are going to be one way. Like that, yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
No.
Also, I think,
nice.
as I said, I don't think America could be better represented by anyone other than Kayla Smith, who is basically like Team USA's head cheerleader and has been since like the Junior Grand Prix last year. Any event she goes to, she just makes a whole like show of it. It's amazing.
It's basically just Kayla, and then there's a partner, but she's just like being the whole Team USA, carrying the whole Team USA. Like, the videos are just so funny of her like freaking out and having the best time. I mean, I wish I had her energy. She seems to have a lot of that. So yeah.
It was really fun to see her back. I'm glad that she like has a new partner and is back competing after the team split last year. And I've got the sense that like he's still pretty new to pairs. Like they didn't seem fully like gelled yet, but like I don't. That's okay. I was just glad to see her back.
I think they also come from different places, so I don't think they get a lot of time to train.
Because I really enjoyed her at the Grand Prix final, like her and her partner last season. And I think she seems to really enjoy competing. So it's great for her that she can be back and had such a like big stage to skate. Because as I said,
and I really enjoyed the Spanish team also. I remember seeing Carolina on the Junior Grand Prix last year with another partner, and she's really like, I really have seen her improve, and it's super exciting that there's a bunch of junior pairs from Spain right now. Like I saw that another team just made their minimums for Junior Worlds Open, and like I don't know what's going on in Spain that they have all these pair skaters, but it's very cool.
I think they came a few times to Ice Lab like over the summer, and the other Spanish team that did the minimums now is training in Ice Lab. And yeah, well, I think the Spanish teams, the pair skating Spanish teams that did like Dorota and Laura, they made it like a little more common probably in Spain to do pair skating, which is really nice to see, because I mean, we should have even more pairs, so every nation that gets pairs is like great to see.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the Spanish team were also very interesting because they didn't do their twist as their first element, which is like so common for almost everyone else. So I wanted to ask, how like mentally does it change if you have to do something else before your twist, or do you prefer doing your twist first?
I mean, I never did it. I always did the twist as the first element in every program. And for me, I mean, I can't speak that much about it because I haven't tried, but it feels like I just need to have the energy for it. I want the energy for it, because I mean, I don't have that huge elevation like Alyona and Bruno did, or Chelsea and Balazs have. So I truly have to work my way through the twist. And in order to have it at its best, it's just like, I just need it as the first element. And I also like doing something before the jumps. So, but honestly, I also enjoy watching programs where there's not like the twist, jump, like order. but for me right now, it's the thing that works. So I'll have to keep it that way. But I'm happy if other people make it work, and for them, it's maybe a good opportunity to do something else than everybody else.
I think it definitely makes teams stand out. 'Cause like the US pairs team, the Mokov siblings, they do their step sequence first, and that's like one of the things that made me go, oh wow, and notice them. So I think it's really cool when like there's a little bit of a change.
Yeah, I know.
And Anna and Luke with their that spiral first.
Oh yeah,
it's also fun.
that's great. Yeah, I don't know how they do it, but they make it work. But I think in junior it's a little bit easier because sometimes for especially the men that are new to pairs, the lifts are a little bit harder. So like the Spanish team, I'm pretty sure they started with a lift, right? I think they did a lift first. And
I think it was
then
second.
maybe for them the double twist is like easier to do because the lift just needs more power, is just a more unsafe element. I don't know, but
yeah,
usually a double twist is maybe a little easier to like switch somewhere else.
Yeah.
I also thought it was impressive, a little bit scary, but also impressive. Annika and Cole in their free skate, I think she tripped twice heading into the twist.
Yeah.
I didn't think like they'd get it in the end. I was a bit shocked when they did. In like a nice way, I was like surprised. But it was like seeing her trip twice, I was nervous.
Yeah, that was crazy. But sometimes when you have it in a practice program, or I don't know, sometimes you trip in front of a jump, you get like that small adrenaline rush, so you're awake, and then the element is a little bit better. So maybe it was not bad because I don't know, I can't watch into her, like I don't know what she was thinking, but maybe she was super nervous and it made her like realize, okay, I'm here, I'm on the ice, I need to focus. So maybe it was not bad for her, even though it was a great effort that she made the twist work. I mean, that's because it was right in front of it, so she really did a good job on doing that. It was a good save.
I know there have been skaters before who have had really terrible like 6-minute warm-ups and then have come straight back out on the ice and then skate absolutely perfectly. They're like, I just got everything out of my system and then I was able to focus. I think even lots of keepers did that once.
I mean, I never had that. I don't know how, but I do have the feeling that happens a few times. I think a little more to single skaters, but usually when the warm-up is like super bad, the program is suddenly super good. I don't know how they do it. I'm more like if the warm-up is good or pretty good, the competition is also kind of good. But usually the warm-up is never like I mean, knock on wood, but it's never a full disaster.
Yeah, should we move on to dance?
Yeah.
No, men.
No.
I don't remember what was
What's
next.
we should move on to what's
next. the next discipline. It was men.
I mean, I would talk longer about pairs, but there was just not that many.
Only 4 of them. So yeah, in gold we have Hyungyum Kim, in silver we have Adam Hagara, and in bronze we have Yan-Hao Lee. First, as far as I remember, first medals at the Youth Olympics for both Slovakia and New Zealand, at least in fixed skating.
That's really. I mean, Adam just had a like crazy season. I don't know how he does it.
He does everything.
Yeah, because I thought, okay, well, after he still has junior worlds, then he has normal worlds, senior worlds, yeah. And that did so many competitions, switched to senior, to junior, back and forth again, and then he's super solid. Like, it's just amazing. I mean, I hope he gets a little bit of rest after the season because it seems like it was a tough.
Yeah, how is he 17 or 18? Like I was just
He's
thinking
17. I don't know, unless he's had a birthday recently. He was 17. Last I
okay,
checked.
because like is he gonna do this again next year? Like I feel like he's been holding Slovakian skating like every single competition for 3 years now that he's been doing
pretty
both
much.
junior and senior. So it's very impressive, and he's really like I feel like all of this exposure has been really helping him, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
He's so close to like top 24 in the world. So I don't know if he's going to be there by the end of the season. If he was, I would suggest he go up to senior because he'd get a Grand Prix. But he might just be off the cusp, so he might want to stay junior one more year.
He's it's fun to see him and Hyun Kim here as well, because the two of them have been competing, like they were saying this, they've been competing together in so many competitions that it's like, oh, hello again. But
Competition besties.
yeah. And like I remember like I saw them both at Nepal last
Nepal,
year.
yeah.
Yeah, and no,
they'd
and
just done 2 Grand Prix before that with each other. Like I think they were at Nepal when they realized Adam was making the Grand Prix, the junior Grand Prix final.
yeah, and so it's fun to see them, but it's also fun. I was thinking like looking at this picture of this podium, they all seem so young, and they are young, but it's just like I get used to seeing some of like Adam in senior competitions, and it's just like, okay, yeah, there's Adam again, and it's like then you see him here, and it's like, oh yes, they are all just teenagers.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, they all did such a great job. I really enjoyed the first three men, and I mean, that's a really tough season, and it's even more impressive that Adam delivered like another clean free skate. Like that's just really, really good, and it still seems to get like a little better every time, even though it's the same content, but still.
Yeah.
I thought it was smart of him to keep his programs, or at least he kept the free skate from last year, that he's really like, because he's not a skater that is necessarily the most like I feel like expressive, but he always seems very present when he skates in a way that I always am drawn in and appreciate. And so I feel like the comfort that he has with the program really has been nice. But I'm also kind of curious to see like, okay, so now what are you going to do next? Having seen these programs a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot of competition, so I think, yeah.
And
it's also really good to see. I was gonna say Jan Hao has almost, I think, got his triple axel. I think he did it in Warp. I don't know if he was clean in the program, but he's just going from strength to strength as like somebody to watch for the future. He's got such great technical skill.
I honestly have never seen him before, but obviously he did the junior Grand Prix, but it never caught my eye. But I'm honest, like the junior Grand Prix men, I'm not that much into, so I don't know every result and every competition, but it was great, like really, and so much joy to watch him being so happy afterwards. So I really had a good time watching this.
Yeah, I really enjoy him, and I'm very, very happy that he was able to get this medal and to have these opportunities. I feel like he was one of the skaters that like did well on the Grand Prix, but was sort of like just below that cusp of like making medals, making the final or anything. So it's really cool to see him get this bit of the spotlight. I felt sorry for Rio Nakata, who just, had such a horrible short program and then couldn't quite climb back up. But he's also he's probably technically the strongest of all of these men, and was, but just it didn't work out. And that's sometimes, I think, especially in juniors, the short program can be so like you make a mistake and that's that.
I feel like especially for the junior men, like I don't know, it seems to happen quite a few times, especially for skaters that are really good jumpers that do the quads in the long program, that the short program seems easy, but maybe it's like too much pressure because they think like it's so easy, like it's just the triple axel or it's just the triple combo, that it kind of gets to their head and it's just too much, and they tend to make mistakes there and not in the free program where they have the higher content, I would say. But yeah. It's a little tough.
And a shame for Jacob Sanchez as well, because obviously he was in first after the short program, and then to not make the podium. I think as far as I remember, he's got the spot at one of the spots at Junior World, so hopefully he can have a redemption there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was glad to see that he got that Junior World spot. I think he is very talented and fun to watch, and so yeah, he's been a bit inconsistent, but I'm hoping he can put it all together for the future. The other skater that, not on the podium that that really stood out to me was Raffaele Francesco Zik. He's just so much fun to watch. I feel like he has such strange and interesting program choices and just always also, super engaging.
Are very like different.
Yeah. It's just like his like glove to be the like Hannibal mask and his choreography. I was just like, whoa, like I don't know where he came up with that idea, but it's definitely interesting. He's another one of those skaters that I'm just like super talented. Could, if he can put it all together and get his tech a bit stronger, he could be, really amazing from the like performance qualities that he's got. So I'm always he's one of those that I'm always sort of like, rooting for, but also watching slightly nervously. And so I'm hoping, Junior Worlds, maybe that he can get that.
And I assume coming back from injury because he missed the majority of the start of the season. So when he started peacemaking in December.
I was very surprised that I didn't know that he could still skate junior, because I felt like he was always in the senior nationals at Italian nationals. So I was like, wow, he can still skate at Youth Olympics. He must be like pretty young. I didn't know that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think he's been like skating up at the nationals for a few seasons. So, but yeah, I think he's super fun to watch, and I remember seeing some pictures of him and Haru Kakuchi they were both training together in Japan in the summer, and I saw some cute pictures of them. So that was also, I was like seeing them here. I was like, oh, okay, there they are back again. But another skater that like I felt like it was interesting seeing in this competition. There are such strong Japanese men and just the depth at the senior level right now, and there are really strong skaters in the juniors, but they're not dominant in the same kind of way. And that's, it's just interesting to see how maybe sometimes for the men, it takes longer to develop or whatever that, the combination of things, but it's interesting to see that.
I feel like sometimes the men just make such a huge like jump in a short time. So you never know what will happen with the juniors, because like the best example is just Adam. A few years later, he was suddenly, it seems like, I know it's not always like overnight, but it seems like overnight he was just like there and super good. And of course, a lot of people appreciated his skating before and knew him, but he was just not the Adam that he is now. So I think a few of the junior skaters will just need a little more time, and then they have their jump and will also be like even better than they are now.
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of similar with Nikolai Mamola, because he competed a lot as a junior, but it was kind of like low results. And then his final junior year, he just like shoots up to like the top of the podium and getting medals and like ready for the senior events. And he didn't have like an incredibly successful junior career before that final
year.
Yeah. I was thinking this sort of similarly with a lot of the Canadian junior men right now. Like I really enjoyed David Lee, and there's actually quite a few of the junior men that like all got like won Grand Prix and did okay, but like they're all kind of like around the same level. And they all improved this year, but like all the same level of improvement. And so I kind of watch that and think, okay, so who among all of you is going to like break out and make that jump up to senior? Because right now there are maybe like 4 or 5 skaters who all are kind of in a similar spot. 3 of them are named David, which is extra confusing.
Hilarious.
Which of them is which? But
I don't remember if it was novice or like first year junior. There was literally the podium at Canadian Nationals was all 3 Davids. It was so funny.
Yes.
Well, I think in that age gap there was a lot of babies named David. It was just a super
So funny.
Yeah. I know David Howes is at least his mom calls him Davy. So I was like, okay, that's Davy. And I can remember like which of those is, but anyway. Yeah. What we have women or dance next?
I think it's dance.
I think it's dance. Don't quote me on that.
I think we had a split of the pairs disciplines and the single disciplines.
But I just want to point out Laura's comment saying and how is an entertainer through and through.
Yes, agreed.
It is dance. This was a fun event.
Yeah. So in gold we have Umbra. Oh God, how do I say these names? Terraria Giannassini and Samuel Klein-Klapperman. In silver we have Olivia Illin and Dylan Kane, and in bronze we have Ashley Sasser and Athel Onge Perez.
I'm just laughing at this picture with Dylan staring into space, and like, I couldn't get one picture with everyone looking at it.
No, it was hilarious. It's like when they went to go and like take pictures of their medals, Ashley and Athel had like already left. They just like walked off the podium.
I think I did Dylan bad in both this and the team event screenshot. I don't think he's looking at the camera, but he wasn't looking at the camera at the same time as everyone else. So there was just like a lot of movement, and I wanted to get the name, so it was like, I'm sorry, Dylan.
He's got a silver. I'm sure he's fine.
But yeah, Amber and Samuel like really ran away with the competition. They won both segments. I think coming into this, Ashley and Athel, after their field program result, I'm not sure, or rhythm dance, I'm not sure if they thought they would make the podium, because they did place 7th.
I was doing
in
so
the
much
rhythm
math,
dance,
like trying to figure out if they could get back up to the podium. I was like, what is their season's best? What is everyone else's season's best? Can they get there?
For ice dance, that's really crazy because usually there's not so much happening in the like placements. So coming from 7th, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe and just like after
went.
Slipping, I was gonna say, yeah. I was like, after slipping and falling in the rhythm dance, to be able to come out and skate clean in the free and just like have no inhibitions and just go for it.
I felt like the falls were the one thing that the videos always had. Like I feel like there were so many videos on social media with the falls. Like there was the winning video of the Canadian pairs. It was with the fall, and from the British ice dancers, the video from the short program with the fall, and I think even from the French ice dancers, they also had the video.
Yeah,
I was like, why do you put the fall into all of those videos?
Samuel got so lucky with that fall in the free because it was right after the twizzles had finished, so it wasn't in an element. So it really didn't affect their score much at all. So they were just like sailed away with a win no matter what.
Sorry. I was just going to say, I think it was the Italian team, was it? With the amazing sort of Hydro Lady lift moment, which I think everyone really loved. And again, like to see that the Youth Olympics at the moment, which I'm assuming is huge for their careers, in front of that audience. I'm just really happy that they could pull it off and and show everyone. And I think a lot of new fans saw it as well. So that was really cool.
I'm pretty sure they've not like done a proper junior competition before. I'm pretty sure they were competing novice earlier in the season, so they would have had to create like a whole new rhythm dance specifically to come to the Youth Olympics.
Wow, they looked super young. They looked very, very cute, and I watched the free dance, and I really like enjoyed, especially like their costumes. I think it was a super nice dress she had, and I loved when there's videos of a special element on a bigger channel like the Olympics, and a lot of people are like, because that's what makes the people draw attention to figure skating. If you put a cool move in a video, they're just like, wow, that's figure skating. That can be really cool, and I love when people are seeing more of the sport. Sometimes it's enough if it's just a short video of something cool like that.
And they got to be the flag bearers in the closing ceremony too, which I loved. It was fun to see the three different teams got to be there representing their countries. But I thought that it was very sweet that even though they were, not a medal winner or something, but they really made an impression here, and then they got to have that experience. So it was very nice for them.
I really enjoy that a lot of figure skaters were able to be flag bearers. At least I felt like that.
Yeah. I was paying attention to that. Well, obviously they couldn't do the opening ceremony because I'm pretty sure nobody arrived until like the week after, because figure skating didn't start until towards the end of the Youth Olympics. But I'm glad that a lot of them got the opportunity to do the closing ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this was another discipline where I was like, okay, this is not most of the teams that we're going to then see, competing for the medals at Junior Worlds. But then it's nice to get a different, some different teams in the spotlight. And hopefully then, this is a really great inspiration for them going into, like, even if they're just sort of starting out their junior careers.
Yeah. I think it's just great for everybody that they have a big event, and as I already said, they can take so much from it and improve, and even if it's the last like competition of the season, they're still like, they will cherish from that in the off season and just want more moments like this. So
yeah.
I think it's very interesting the French Federation are not sending Amber and Samuel to Junior Worlds.
Yeah,
because they have two spots, and Selena and John Hans, who obviously were the junior Grand Prix final, have one of them, and then new team Dania and Theo have the other spot. I guess maybe there was an agreement that Amber and Samuel would get the Youth Olympics and Dania and Theo would get Junior Worlds. I assume that's what it was going on, but because I'm pretty sure Amber and Samuel won Junior Nationals ahead of Selena and John Hans as well. So definitely interesting choices.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little like you can't really understand all the decisions of the federation. But I mean, anyway, like for them winning a gold at Youth Olympics, I mean, I understand that you also want to go to Junior Worlds and that Junior Worlds is a big thing, but maybe they can, like, they had such a great time there and won a gold medal, and maybe it helped them improve even more to be at this event than go to Junior Worlds. I don't want to take it away from them. Like, I understand if they want to go and that they would probably like to do both competitions, but still, I think, like, maybe when they look back, they can, like, understand that this event was maybe worth even more.
Yeah. I do really like with Dania and Theo, their team that's going to Junior Worlds, though. I saw them on the Junior Grand Prix making their debut, and they were really fun. So I'm as a spectator, I'm not upset to get in there. See
a lot of talent and just not enough spaces.
Yeah.
I also want to highlight Jinny, Kim, and Namuli, the Korean dance team. They were, I think, just 1 point off that podium, which I think, also would have been like a really special moment. But yeah, I think like things happen. It's ice, but I'm personally like happy with the podium. so I can't argue too much.
But still,
I
like,
just thought, probably not going to get that names right, but the Chinese team who kind of had making their debut here were really promising. Their free dance was like so good. I thought they were a great team, and so much in hold as well, which we don't get enough of in Ice Stars these days. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them in the future.
yeah, I feel like China, Japan, and Korea, they seem to try to focus a lot more on also the other disciplines, not only singles, and they seem to form some really good ice dance teams also in the younger age groups, which is nice to see that there's like more people being there competing. I mean, they need it if they want to go to the team event. It's not a bad idea to have more pairs, but still, it's really nice to see, I think.
Yeah, I was really glad to see that, this team coming up, and then we've got such a great team now for Korea and seniors, and the dance teams, they're really coming along. And I think it'll be interesting to see sort of what happens with Korean teams with pairs and if they're able to catch up there. But it was interesting to see with the Japanese teams. Now I'm distracted because I'm thinking about four continents, but it was really cool to see like what it looks like to have a competition, like in national competition as well for some of these teams coming up. So anyway, just having there be more of a field and not just be like, okay, we have our one team, we can now compete at the team event. Great, like that puts that team in a hard spot. So I'm glad to see there's starting to be deeper fields for some of the countries that historically haven't had as much.
I mean, it also helps the teams to improve if they have like internal competition. So that's really nice for everybody.
Totally.
I wish I could talk more about ice dance, but I'm really like, I can only tell you what I like and what I don't like from the performance kind of. So
yeah. Did you ever try dance, Annika?
No, not at all. Not even like a, I don't know, pattern dance or something like that. I just did the one lift with Marco.
Oh yeah.
Which was a rotational lift, but I mean, we kind of also do some small rotational lifts like we need for the choreo sequence, so it was not that different, but it was still fun to do.
Yeah. But you work with dancers a lot though, so you get some of that in here.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And moving on to the women's event.
So in first place we have Mao Shimada, second we have Jiashin, and third we have Yo Takagi. Bit of a bigger difference between first and second than I was expecting personally. And I know it's also, I think it was a surprise for people that it did come out in that order as well. But overall, some really strong skates.
I think what was very surprising was how harsh the tech panel was.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen Mao or Gia judged like that. like in any competition they've done.
Yeah, I felt like when I had a look at the protocols, I looked at Mao's and I was like, they almost counted every jump as under or Q, or like I think there were 2 jumps that were clean, like called as clean.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, they put in everything. They put in the cues, the how do you say, like, not, I'm missing the English word, like the edge call,
mm-hmm.
or just the attention call. So
yeah,
there was literally everything in every jump.
And like a downgrade on the quad, I think, as well. I was like, oh, everything you could have called, you managed to call.
Yeah,
there's also the spin, wasn't there? That was the spin that was called.
Was completely invalid. Yeah. Which I don't think I've ever seen her do either before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I enjoyed a lot of the ladies. I enjoyed especially a lot of the jumps of the ladies. I think there were, like, for example, Anthea, the Swiss girl. I really love her jump technique. I enjoy it a lot. And also from the Estonian, like, she goes in with so much speed and goes out with so much speed if she catches it on the right, like, way. But what I always, like, for me, it's sometimes a little sad that some of the really young junior girls that also look young are choosing, like, super sad and classical music, and I'm like, wow, you're so small. Just why does the coach do that? Just choose something fun, and you can, like, you're young, you can skate something that works now but probably doesn't work when you're older. Just don't go for the classical one. Why? For me, it's just so much, like, lost potential, or I don't know. I think there are so many more years left where you can go for the beauty and slow music, and you're not young for forever, so just might as well have a little fun with that.
Yeah. No,
it's like who was I trying to think of? Yutheng Sai, who got didn't do too well here, but got a bronze on the Junior Grand Prix. She's such a charismatic and like effervescent skater, and then I think she has like Schindler's List as her free skate, and I'm just like, why? pick something that shows off what a great performer you are.
Because I enjoyed her short program a lot more, even though I think it was also, I mean, it was not super entertaining music, but it just, Schindler's List is just so
so depressing.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I understand that it's a beautiful music, I agree, but it's so overskated, and it's just also so sad, so just maybe choose a different one. But
yeah, I mean, that's partly why I really enjoy Mao's short program, which I feel like I've gone through like such like waves of opinion about it, where like when I first heard that that's what she was skating to, I was really excited. And then I saw the program and I was like, ooh, this seems like this is going to be really challenging for her. It's like she's not, super comfortable with it. And then like as the season's gone on, I'm like, okay, like she's starting to get it. Like she's starting to get into it. I'm kind of back on board with this concept, but it's just fun to see her, try to do a little bit of like skating a character and skating something with that kind of energy where it doesn't have to be like perfect. And I think that sometimes like with these incredibly talented junior women, and they're going to be juniors for a long time, and it's like, trying to maintain a level of like every single thing is like polished to like the absolute like most level of like shininess and perfection. And it's like a lot of pressure to keep at that all the time. And so it's sometimes I like when they can choose music or ideas or things that are a little bit like, yeah, maybe it's not going to work all the time, but you're pushing yourself and that's okay. And
I really enjoyed her. I didn't watch every competition, but the short program at the Youth Olympics of Mao, I think it was super nice. Like the music was like a breath of fresh air, so I had a lot of fun watching it.
Yeah, I also really enjoyed that I was thinking about here. The Chinese skater, which I may mispronounce, Shiki Gao, I was impressed with. I don't remember having seen her before. And then I love Maria Elise Kalyuvera's skating. Like she had a rough free skate here, and I think she did better competitively last year than this year. I think she's been dealing with some injuries and some growing and like all of those things, but she's super young. She's like 14. But I'm excited to see like what she's able to do in the future. And she's someone who is like very shy and introverted, and so her choreography is like kind of in the like very beautiful like soft place, but I'm like I wonder like how she'll grow as we see her improve over time, because she had such nice musical interpretation. I watched her get part of her new free skate choreographed this year, and it was super interesting, like watching her like learning choreography, because she's like very, she wasn't coming up with any of her own ideas. She was like very much like following, but she could like immediately catch every idea and every motion. I was like, there's a huge amount of talent there. So
I really love that she goes, I mean, at least it seems like she goes like 100% and doesn't like back up. And sometimes the falls look a little like they hurt, but that's just I think it's the good way to go for it, because like mistakes can happen, but it doesn't seem like she's going cautious into the jumps. She's just going all in, and then either it works or it doesn't, but that's just actually what the junior seasons are for. So why not do that and go 100%?
Yeah, I heard that there may be changes coming, at least for like the novice level, to make falls be worth like half of a point instead of a point or something like that, because they're trying to encourage people to be okay with taking risks at the junior, again, novice level. And I've kind of mixed feelings about that. Like, don't push yourself to the point that you're like breaking yourself as a novice, but also that like you don't have to be perfect and you can try things is kind of a good thing. But I'll be interested to see if that idea ends up coming forward.
Isn't a fall half a point anyway in novice already?
Is it? I think, or maybe they were thinking about making it that way in junior. I know there was a change being talked about. So
I know that at least maybe it's like I don't know. I don't want to say something wrong. Maybe it's a German thing, but in the German novice competitions, it's for sure half a point for a fall.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have to look at that. This was
like just very open. Then we know, because that was the international.
Sure, just check out the very open.
Yeah, like fact check me, because I maybe had that confused, but that was but yeah, I think that the
yeah, there's a lot of 50s.
Yeah.
In the advanced noise. So I guess it's half a point.
Yeah, so I guess that is how it is now. But yeah, I think it was something that's interesting.
I think at least if you were going to change anything about juniors, maybe, I don't think it's as harsh in juniors as it is in seniors, but like maybe for multiple falls, not like when you get to a certain point, don't have it too much. I mean, I know currently for seniors, if you fall 3 times, it jumps up to 4 and then 6 and spirals like that. I don't think it spirals as much as that in juniors, but maybe don't penalize them too much if they fall too much.
But this rule doesn't really make sense to me anyway, because if you already fall 3 times, like
yeah.
Exactly. It's the like insult to injury. Like, why are we making this even harder?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, but I think on the rare occasion that somebody's like fallen, I think 5 times, it jumps up to like a -9 in total. And it's just like, why?
Yeah.
Why? It's just causing more insult to injury.
Too much. Yeah. Poor people.
Yeah. My rabbit was eating something he wasn't supposed to, so I had to go grab him.
I was gonna say, also like a shout out to Sherry Zhang, who had a horrible short program and like was so far down like in the starting order for the free skate, and then just kept passing everyone as she just had such a great free skate. And I think it like that saved her a spot for Junior Worlds as well. I think if it hadn't gone as well as that, she probably wouldn't have got that assignment, but she managed to still get that. So
I love something like that. I mean, I know that a full like clean competition is like probably the best thing, but I enjoy more if people have not a great short program, but then they like manage to pull themselves together and like climb so many ranks up. I think it's always such a great like moment, and you really feel happy for the person because you're like, wow, you really turned it around. And in the free program, it even seemed like I was like, how could she even fall? Because it looked all so like secure, and I had no doubt that there was something happening. But I mean, yeah, there's bad days for everybody, but she really like turned it around. So that was great.
Also hilarious, like pictures that she had on social media. She took like a selfie with like the president of the ISU, and like Sai was like there in the audience. I'm like, this is like the strangest selfie I've ever seen.
It was a super random combo, yeah.
Yeah, I like that you have to have a certain amount of confidence to just be like, hi, like Sai Unicum, the president of the IOC, like copy of myself.
Sure. I'm super afraid because I remember at our Youth Olympics there was also Yuna Kim, and I was such a huge fan, but she was just so like unreachable that I was never that afraid again to ask somebody for a picture. I did in the end, but it was a really uncomfortable situation.
Yeah.
I think then we can move into the team event. A different team event than what we've seen before. Normally it is a mixed team event and like different countries mixed. This year they went for just countries.
A mini World Team Trophy.
Yeah, I don't know what
it would be interesting to know what the reason is behind.
In gold for Republic of Korea, and for USA, and in bronze Canada.
For me, it was so much more fun when they mixed everything. I don't know why they went back to like regular teams by countries, but I enjoyed having like more countries, because then you could have also put in all the 4 pairs, because now it was just 2 pairs skating. So, well,
you know, it was sad that they didn't get to end up being in the competition for a couple of them. But yeah, it seems like such a nice thing, like in the Olympic spirit and everything, to mix, to have that mix of teams, and something that like I wish we had more opportunities for that. So I was sad to see it go here.
Yeah. I don't know who decided it, but
I know that even the commentators were confused about how it was being scored, and didn't understand the fact that like two of the things would be like disqualified, because obviously 2 of the teams had more disciplines competing than the others.
Exactly. So it was already so hard to find enough countries that have enough members to take part in a team event. So might as well just like mix it up.
Yeah. Well, it was nice, you know. So we were saying that, you know, with Korea getting the medal here, it was a nice thing for the home crowd, though, to have that. And everyone looks so happy right there with their medals, except I do see Dylan Kane looking slightly confused again. So I do think you did pick the photos were a little hard on him.
Oh man. So
it's
funny.
Also so funny that the people from the US, like the girls, just lined up in front.
Oh yeah.
Of Korea, like.
What are they doing?
Because this would have never been at real Olympics, but even better if they can just like take it a little less serious and move everybody up where they want to go.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's partly what's nice about this, is it's sort of like the Olympics, but it's like the Olympics if you take away like most of the stress and pressure, though I'm sure that it's, you know, all competitions have some of that, but it's like it definitely, the vibes were different.
I think especially in the team event you can like just go out and have fun and enjoy it more. And also I think for when I did it, I was a single skater, so for me it was even nicer to have some people around and not be kind of alone. So I think the team event is always a fun thing to do.
What do you think about having the team event after the single individual disciplines, because it's the opposite of the way it's done at the real Olympics.
I mean, it's so hard to say because it's different for every country. I mean, like if the interest of the country at real Olympics is to, like, if it's more important for the country to get the team medal than it is that they get like individual medals, or if they have more chances to get a team medal, I understand that it's maybe easier to put it before the events, like before the single events, because then there's like the pressure is still more on and they have like a chance to go out before their real event. So I think in some way it's not bad, but for the fun, I would say it's nicer to have it after, because then there's a little bit of pressure gone and you can go out again and really enjoy. But yeah, it depends on what your focus is, I guess.
Yeah, it always seemed odd to me that they do it first, and like that you would have it puts a lot of the skaters that are then hoping to win, you know, or an individual medal or something, that puts them in a hard position to have to be either skating your hardest twice in that space, or do you try to reserve some energy, or yeah, it just seems like it's a challenging situation.
It's also a little difficult, like when it's on one hand it's nice because, for example, me and Ruben were like the alternates because Aljana and Bruno should skate, but it was not clear until the end, so we had to be there the whole time, and then it was not clear if we're skating the long. I mean, of course it was kind of clear that we're not going to get into the long, but you never know, so we had to be there the whole day, like have your makeup done, think about if you have to warm up, but then in the end we didn't make it, so we didn't have to warm up. But it was also like a full day of just being in the ice rink, which is also a little exhausting before a real competition. So
yeah,
well,
yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
I did appreciate, I just want to say, like, one last thought was just about the Youth Olympics overall, was that I did, despite complaining about the commentary, appreciate that it was just available on YouTube and that they had the stream and that it was easy to find, because that's not always the case. And so it was something that, like, I know that you could watch it like through the, like, I'm in the US through NBC, like on their app, they had it available, but that you could also just watch it without the geo blocking through the through YouTube was great.
That was so nice. I thought also that they did a good job on just having it free on YouTube and everybody can watch it. So much easier.
And you could
see my friend who's very into cross country skiing, if the Youth Olympics was a thing that she was aware of, and she was like, the what? And like, this is somebody who like watches like cross country ski races and like gets, you know, like manages somehow to subscribe to like British Eurosport from the US so that she can watch like all of the stuff, and she had no idea the Youth Olympics was going on. So I was like, huh, interesting, because I was just curious, like, what is this, you know, place it has in other sports? But from my one data point, it was not making it was not making a splash.
Yeah, I mean, you could see in the comments for this one as well, like on the live stream, there were people like, oh, these are Youth Olympics? Like, why are they so young? But like, at least you get new people who don't really know like what they're watching. They're still watching, and, you know, you get a new fan or two and they're following these sport, and like the future generations of these figure skaters get some new fans as well. So I think having a free stream available is always a good idea. And you can see that with, you know, they got a lot of views on their videos, and people were talking about it on the internet. Like it just seems like an obvious thing to do, but you know, it's not.
So I think like I saw some skating fans criticizing or like the choice for I think, I don't know if this applied to any other skaters, but that like Kaya Ruda did the Youth Olympics rather than going to 4 continents. Obviously she already signed up for the Youth Olympics way before she'd won nationals and knew she would definitely be going to 4 continents. But this is a once in a lifetime experience. You don't get another chance to go to the Youth Olympics. It's so narrow in the age range. I think I wouldn't ever begrudge anyone choosing, even though it's not like as popular of an event, say, as like Four Continents. I think you should pick whatever is going to be the best experience for you. I don't think you necessarily have to go to Four Continents and try and get your minimums for Worlds or something like that. Like, you can do that.
More audiences at the Youth Olympics than they did at Four Continents, so yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the audience was hard to beat. No, and Four Continents is every year, so might as well go next year or the year after. So
give my bunny a little time on the stream because he's been sitting on my lap. So this is Twig.
He deserves it.
He was trying to eat a box that has a bunch of records in it because apparently the like aged cardboard of the records tastes very good. So I had to go grab him away from doing that. So
yeah,
troublemaker.
Troublemaker, yeah.
I know all about troublesome pets. My cat has been like running into my blinds in the living room, and she's now broken 2 of them. Like they're like hanging off. I'm like, I have to tape them back up. I'm like, please stop.
That's a real cat thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, as Melissa says, Four Continents has 3 spots for every country, as opposed to Euros, which is a lot harder to earn the spots. I mean, there's obviously reason to go to Four Continents, and I don't like that so many countries kind of like bob it off as like a second-hand event. But I think if you've got the opportunity to go to Youth Olympics, that's a 1 in a million. So take the chance.
Yeah.
Totally.
Hey. Yeah, I think that wraps up today's stream. Annika, thank you so much for joining us and for your time.
Of course.
Good luck at Worlds, I think is your next competition.
Yes.
So good luck. Hoping you both have stay healthy and
Thank you.
yeah.
Good practices between now and then, and we'll see. I'll see you in Montreal.
I'm happy to see you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you to everyone for watching as well, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
I was gonna say, we're going to be back really soon.
Yes.
For our Four Continents Championships recap with Asher Hill. Thank you everyone for watching, or for listening on a podcast platform. I don't know. I think Spotify and Apple podcast. But yeah, just some comments coming in saying thank you as well. So yeah, I'm gonna end the stream now. Thank you all.
Okay.
Bye.
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 Bye.